How powerful we are on this app when we collectively agree, correct?
Yes, these are all very good ideas. And 8 years ago, before I did the research on how to get somebody onto the ballot, I thought it was that easy too. Reality is, there's rules to this shit. I'm not gonna say it's impossible because miracles happen every day, right? But baby, believe me when I tell you, we gonna need a motherfucking miracle. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, let me say this. Voting is a group project, so what I do affects you and what you do affects me. Which is why I try to approach voting from an educated point of view and not an emotional one. I know we all feel some kind of way about what is going on in the world right now and our government's complicity in it. But what I need y'all to understand is that this is not a party issue. This is an American issue. America is bipartisan on its participation in supporting Israel monetarily. That monetary compensation comes from Congress more than it comes from the president. The House of Representatives, which we have the ability to replace every 2 years, but we don't do it because we don't show up for midterms, is who controls our budget. And I honestly think that is where we need to direct our fury. But since everybody wants to talk about the president, let's get into it. The good news is this information is available to every American who has internet access for free. The bad news is once you access this information, you're going to realize just how far behind we are and how it's literally damn near impossible for you to get a new person onto the primary ballot to then win the primary and then become the nominee in the general election. Y'all forgot about primaries and delegates and super delegates, huh? You also forget that, yes, we can move mountains on this app, but the majority of our electorate, 52% of them, are over the age of 50 and are not on this app. So they don't know what the fuck we talking about over here. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm not trying to underestimate anybody's intelligence, but I have to say this just in case you don't know. In order to become the president of the United States, you have to garner 270 electoral college votes out of the 538 electoral college votes that are available. To know how many electoral college votes your state has, think about how many representatives you have in the House of Representatives. The numbers are the same. Now, I volunteered as tribute and did the research on all the states that have double-digit electoral vote counts. So if a state has more than 10 electoral college votes, I have the numbers on it, but I'm not going to bore you with all of them. Let's just go with the big ones first. Let's start with California. Again, this information is available to everyone for free. You can go to Ballotpedia and look this up, and they have a little spreadsheet that they broke everything down. But if you want to read all the processes for yourself, you go over to this source link, and it will take you to the election, Secretary of State election division of whatever state you're looking at. Okay, so here we are at California. Okay, as you can see here, there are two methods by which a person can have their name put on the ballot for the primary. By determination of the Secretary of State that the person is a generally recognized candidate, or by circulating nomination papers, which basically means signing petitions that say you want this person to run for president. To qualify as a generally advocated for or recognized candidate, you have to meet one of the following criteria. You have to qualify for funding under the FEC Act. You have to appear as a candidate in a debate by a permitted political party that's qualified in that state to participate in the primary election. So all that nonsense running under the birthday party or the unicorn party and all that kind of stuff, that shit does not count. You have to have placed or qualified for placement on a presidential primary ballot in another state. You can be a candidate or qualified to be a candidate in a caucus of a major or minor ballot qualified political party in another state. Or you can have a current presidential campaign internet website or web page that is hosted by either the candidate or the qualified political party, and a written request submitted to the Secretary of State requesting the candidate be placed on the presidential primary ballot. So right now on the Democratic side, we only have Joe Biden and that crazy crackpot I solve COVID with vibes lady, Marianne Williamson. So those are the only two people who qualify as generally advocated for or recognized candidates on the Democratic side. So if you want somebody new, they're going to have to go through this next procedure, which is the circulation of nomination papers for candidates, basically signing a petition to say you want this person to run for president. In California, you have to get 1% of the registered party members, or 500 from each congressional district. California has 40 Democratic congressional districts, so you will have to get 500 signatures from each of those 40 districts to qualify, or 1% of the registered party, whichever number is lesser. The period for circulating these petitions is from November 6th, 2023 through December 15th, 2023. So that is in literally like 2 weeks. You have 2 weeks to organize, get people together in each one of those Democratic congressional districts and get 500 signatures for whoever the new person is you want to put on the ballot. And they have to be turned in on December 15th. And again, this is just California's rules. So for us to get a new candidate on the primary ballot in every single state in this country is going to take a gargantuan amount of work. And here's some more bad news. I want you to look at Nevada and New Hampshire, right? The filing dates are over here. 10/16 and 10/27. Those, 10/16 has already passed. 10/27 is passing this week. So Nevada and New Hampshire are already out of the game. So that's two states that cannot even vote on a new person. So their chances of winning the primary have already been shot. And I know you're thinking, well, what if they run independent? Not the American Independent Party, because that is a whole nother Nazi situation, but as an independent person. In California, nomination papers for an office other than a statewide office have to be signed by not less in number than 3% of the entire number of registered voters in the area at the time of the close of registration prior to the preceding general election. So if we hop over here to see how many registered voters California has, they have 21,980,768 registered voters as of February 10th of this year. 3% of that number is 659,423 signatures you would have to get from the people of the state of California, and you would have to turn that in by August 9th of 2024 for that person to be on the ballot in that state. And again, these are just California's rules. The rules are different per each state in this country. So what I'm trying to express to y'all is the easier goal is to go after Congress, because one, that's just your state, and two, that's who actually controls our budget and who keeps sending this money to fund the genocide over there. The other thing I want to stress to you is this. Again, you have to consider the ages of our electorate in this country. 18 to 29 only makes up 17%, and that's the majority of people on this app. Then my age group right here, 30 to 49, we are only 31% of the electorate. Then 50 to 64 is 28% of the electorate. Then 65 and up is 24. So when you add these two together, that's 50 and up. That is 52% of our voting public in this country. And most of those people are not on this app. So good luck getting your great Aunt Martha to vote for anybody new when Joe Biden is sitting right there. Y'all, we can fix a lot of shit in this country, but it's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take knowing what the fuck we're doing and what we're talking about when we get on this app to encourage people to take action. And right now, this is just my personal opinion, but I do not think discouraging people from voting for the candidate that we have right now is the right move. Here's why. A lot of y'all don't remember how it went down in 2016, but we are literally at that same place where people are feeling like they don't have a choice. They don't have an option. And so they will opt to stay home instead of going out to vote for somebody that makes them icky feeling. But that is how we got Donald Trump in 2016. Now, I don't think he gonna even make it to their primary. I don't think he's gonna make it to the ballot because these cases and these indictments is coming up on his ass. But the next person that they have in line is Ron DeSantis. And do you want Ron motherfucking DeSantis as your president? Because guess what? He's not gonna care about stopping the funding over there to Israel. He's gonna send them more because again, all they see is white people winning, and that is what they want. So you have to strategize. We have to put our feelings aside and know that it is not a moral failing to do what you need to do in order to do what you want to do down the road. It is not a moral failing to keep the GOP at bay in order to get their asses out of our legislature in 2026 and in 2028 in order to be able to help the people of Palestine not have any more of this shit going on them. Because if we get rid of the people in Congress, then we can stop the funding to Israel. I said this in my last video. We need more Ilhans. We need more Rashidas. We need more Ayanas. We need more Corys. We need more Jasmines. We need more of the people who are not afraid to stand up in Congress and say this is bullshit. The president does not have the power y'all think he has. That power is in Congress, and Congress is so much more capturable for us if you would just get your ass up and vote in midterms and stop putting all your eggs in the goddamn presidential election. It is not about a president. This is about Congress. Vote, ho!